Right, and welcome to another episode of the Nazi Podcast. And in this episode is all about Impact Wrestling, No Surrender, which happened last night, and being able to talk about the two matches that we did have on the countdown. Two No Surrender, where we had Giselle Shaw defeating Deanna Perrazzo and Jonathan Gresham defeating Mike Bailey. So those were the two matches that were on their countdown. Getting into the main card, where we had the Impact Knockouts Tag Team Championship match and it was a few others, but we started things off really with Frankie Kazarian and Khan being able to go at a very interesting match, and Frankie Kazarian actually getting his win there. Then we get into, of course, the Knockouts Tag Team Championship match where we had the Death Dolls dealing with the Hex returning back to Impact, which is awesome, especially from the time in the NWA. So they were able to look and try and get the tag team titles, but the Death Dolls were able to retain, which is fine there. So curious to see what's going to be happening next for both teams. We had Joe Hendry and his Moose going at it in a combat match. Basically, anything goes there for the Digital Media Championship, where we saw the use of basically things like computer-like related things, especially gaming systems like the Sega Dreamcast, which is a nice throwback to be able to see that. And we had Joe Hendry actually getting his win there. So really interesting to see where things go from there. We had the Busted Open live segment, which is very interesting, dealing with Bully Ray and Tommy Dreamer. I'm sure these two will be able to have a match for the next uh, pay per view. I'm sure that just basically continuing their fair share of problems. We had the Fatal 4-Way number one contenders match to see who would be able to face the world champion for the next pay per view, and dealing with Steve Macklin, PCO, Brian Myers, and Heath in this one. And Steve Macklin actually getting his win, which is really cool. I'm happy about that. It's about damn time for them. So Steve Macklin definitely does deserve them. Then we get into a very interesting stuff where we had Bullet Club, where we had the returning Kenta, which is awesome to see him back in the ring, dealing with Ace Austin, Chris Bay as his teammates there for the Bullet Club. And the other side, we had Time Machine, basically Kushida, Chris Sabin, and Alex Shelley, the Motor City Machine Guns, and really awesome stuff. So hopefully this wasn't just a one-term deal for Kenta, and maybe he'll be back more often. I definitely missed him in the ring for sure. So him and Bullet Club were able to actually get their win as well. So really fun stuff. I thought this was going to actually open the show, but it was actually way later on in the card as well. So still very enjoyable. And then we got the Knockouts World Championship match, Mickey James and Masha Slamovich on this one, and really cool back and forth stuff. And to the point where Mickey James was getting very frustrated that we see her bite the tongue of Masha at one point. So she was doing everything that she can to try and stop Masha, and eventually she did. She found a way, which is cool on that. So at the same time, I kind of wanted to see Masha get her own win and get the Knockouts title. So I don't know what's going to be next for her on that. So there probably will be another match between the two where Masha gets the title at some point. So it was really cool to see the chemistry between the two. So I'm sure there will definitely be more. And then the main event, the world title on the line, Josh Alexander dealing with Rich Strong, and these two giving it their all in this one. Rich Strong trying to gain back the world title, so it's been a little while since he's been able to be world champion. So being able to have that going for him, and Josh Alexander able to get his win, keep the world title, and most likely will face Steve Macklin next time. So I can see Steve Macklin eventually getting the world title. Maybe at the next pay per view, that remains to be seen. On it, especially to see who will be able to stop Josh Alexander. So that would be very interesting on that since he's been on the Raw as world champion and having really dope matches for sure. So really been enjoying his run thus far. So that's everything that happened with No Surrender. I do got a lot more planned for the In the Hot Seat podcast. My first uh, interview of the year is coming this weekend. So there's a lot to look forward to as well more The Last of Us review as we're getting towards the end for The Last of Us. If you're watching on YouTube version, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay notified for all of the In the Hot Seat podcast episodes. I have the link for the description box for the link tree to stay notified for all of my socials as well. So that's it for this week's episode, for this episode anyway, for the In the Hot Seat podcast. And I will catch everyone next time for the In the Hot Seat podcast.